Teddy Roosevelt loved his father. In fact, in the Roosevelt household, the dad's nickname was Great Heart. During the Civil War, he ran an organization that helped get money back to orphans and widows of Union soldiers. In New York City, Great Heart ran orphanages for boys and was a huge philanthropist. He was widely respected by everyone in New York City as a good man who always did the right thing and who used his wealth and influence to make the lives of other people better. And he was a great father. He spent time with his kids. He knew about them, talked to them, encouraged them in their pursuits. Teddy Roosevelt loved to catch reptiles and shoot birds, and he was an amateur taxidermist, and his father supported him in this and let him have animals all throughout the house and especially up in his room. There's stories that Teddy Roosevelt tells about his dad, about when he was younger, he had crippling asthma. And sometimes during the night, he would wake up unable to breathe. It felt like he was underwater or an elephant was sitting on his chest. And his father would take him into his arms and walk him around the house, just trying to use his powerful presence to push strength into his son, getting him to breathe. And sometimes when that wouldn't work, he would get in their coach and order their coachman to drive as fast as he could down and up and down the streets of New York, hoping that the wind would somehow come into Teddy Roosevelt and fill his lungs. Later, as Teddy Roosevelt was getting a little bit older, Great Heart took his son aside and said, Teddy, or actually they called him Teddy. He said, Teddy, you've got to build your body. You have to beat this. And while you could look at that conversation as a father chastising his son for being too weak or putting him down, that wasn't the case at all. Teddy knew that his father believed in him. And his father was saying, hey, you have to overcome this. I can't do it for you. You have to build your body. And Great Heart hired a professional boxer to give his son boxing lessons. He bought weightlifting equipment, and they had a little courtyard behind the house, and it became Teddy Roosevelt's workout gym. And he was constantly back there working out, lifting the bars, doing chin-ups and jumping jacks and calisthenics. And it was slow, but eventually he did begin to build his body to where when he went away to college, he was on the boxing team and he rode. And he wasn't a very good athlete because his eyesight was never good, but he was very vigorous. Now, all of this happened. Many of the things that we love about Teddy Roosevelt go back to his father. His caring for the down and out, his compassion, his adventure, his strong spirit. And when Teddy Roosevelt looked at his dad, he adored his dad. I mean, he revered his dad. He loved him so much. And whenever his dad said to do anything, Teddy Roosevelt wanted to go above and beyond. Even as a president, his one regret was that my dad isn't here to see the man that I've become. I hope I would have made him proud. When his father died, Teddy Roosevelt was just heartbroken. There's a verse in Revelation, part of the three angels' message, that says, fear God and give him glory. And many translations say fear God and give him glory. But that word fear can be translated to reverence, cherish, hold in awe. And some people like to look at Revelation and talk about how fearful we need to be of God. And they highlight all of the symbols that make God scary and big. And they believe that if somehow they can scare people enough, it'll scare them straight or make them holy. But that's not what God wants to do. God wants to change us from the inside. And when we're afraid, we might act a certain way. But as soon as that fear is taken away, then we go back to who we were before. And I think this verse is pretty clear because it says, fear God and give him glory. Now, you can't give true glory to someone that you're afraid of. You could give lip service, but not true praise and glory. And to hear Teddy Roosevelt, or even to read the things that he wrote about his father, I mean, he gave his father glory. He thought his father hung the moon. He believed his whole life he was never as good of a man as his father. He was always giving his Father glory. And so the kind of fear that TD had for Greatheart wasn't, oh, I'm afraid if I don't work out enough, my dad will hurt me or he'll be disappointed in me. It was a reverence and awe, and I want to be like him. And the first part of the three angels' message is that message. It says, look at God and say, wow, I want to be like him. And it's not saying be afraid of him like a Zeus with a lightning bolt kind of fear, but reverence and awe to where you are just speechless. And when you finally do have the ability to talk, you give him glory. You see, there's a natural law that says what we behold, we become like. And if we look at God the way TD looked at Greatheart, it will elevate us and ennoble us and inspire us. It will lift us up out of our, out of whatever muck we're standing in, whether it's anxiety or depression or despair or beating ourselves up or an addiction. The more we look at God, the more we're lifted out of that. And while we can't just snap our fingers and change ourselves, we can snap our fingers and change our perspective and change our focus. And when you start to go down that path, and you know the one I'm talking about, when you start to go down that path, instead of looking at yourself and saying, oh, I'm such a failure, or looking at other people and saying, oh, I hope they like me, look up, fear God, reverence him, and give him glory. Say out loud, God's got this. Say out loud, God, you are so good. Say out loud, God, you are whatever is lacking in your life. You are so pure. You are so self-controlled. You are the source of joy and strength. You are good. You are holy. And as you focus on that and speak that, those qualities of God start to grow in your own heart. Teddy Roosevelt looked at Greatheart and he said, I want to be like him. And when we look at God and say, I want to be like him, we step into our destiny and start to become the people that God created us to be. God bless.